The Chicago Sky finally replaced Chennedy Carter with Ariel Atkins, and I am using this as my opportunity to extend an olive branch to the Chennedy Carter brigade. The Ken folk, I believe you guys call yourself. I am taking this as an opportunity to reach out my hand and say greetings.
Carter just faced one of the harshest moves in pro sports. The Chicago Sky didn't bother with a proper send-off. No notice, no softened farewell speech. They simply moved on and brought in her replacement. In reality, she was never officially on the roster to begin with. Harsh, right? Was this a strategic front office choice, or was it a clear message that Carter had outstayed her welcome?
So Chennedy Carter is a player for nobody right now. Absolutely nobody. She is not playing basketball, and we've now got a situation where we've got one of the 15 best players in the world just not in the league.
Carter just got hit with a wake-up call, hotter than a midsummer day in Chicago. And honestly, it was only a matter of time. She spent the entire season making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Cheap shots, unnecessary attitude, and going out of her way to be Caitlin Clark's biggest on-court agitator. Now she's the one on the sidelines. And Chicago, they didn't just show her the exit. They slammed the door shut and locked it.
Ariel Atkins is a good guard. She's a solid player. But they had Chennedy Carter that they chose to not re-sign, who was one of the most explosive shooting guards in the league. I put her around 2 or 3. I mean, I'm right now playing with Caitlin Clark. I give Kelsey Mitchell the edge. Right now, I think Chennedy Carter is a better shooting guard than, say, Sabrina Ionescu, Kelsey Plum. So, I mean, she's right up there.
Now enter Ariel Atkins, a respected high IQ player who knows how to contribute without stirring up unnecessary drama. While Carter is left wondering about her future in the WNBA, the Sky have already moved on, quickly securing a player who actually adds value to both the team and the fans. And the reactions? Split. Some are celebrating like Chicago just won a championship, while Carter's diehard supporters are calling it an injustice, as if this is the biggest controversy since WNBA referees started ignoring blatant fouls on Caitlin Clark.
And Clark. I mean, that's clearly a foul which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Chennedy Carter.
And speaking of fouls, this one was called. The real question is, would it have been labeled as unnecessary if it wasn't Carter? Let's be honest. Chicago made their stance crystal clear. They didn't just quietly cut ties with Carter. They ensured there was no room for misinterpretation by securing an experienced player before Carter even had a chance to fight for her spot.
Do you have any regrets on how it happened and everything that's happened since then?
I don't have any regrets with anything. I'm going to compete and play 100% hard no matter who it is, like I said, or who we're playing. No, I don't have any regrets.
And really, can anyone be surprised? Carter spent the season embracing the villain role instead of focusing on improving her team. The unnecessary antics, the lack of professionalism, it all caught up to her. Sure, some fans enjoyed the drama, but WNBA teams aren't casting for reality TV. They're here to win basketball games.
It's a mad one for me, because I'm like, this is, if this was a year ago, fair enough. But like, the Sky were willing to take her in. And look, I get it, maybe she wasn't the greatest in the locker room, but she was really good at basketball.
Meanwhile, Atkins joins Chicago with zero baggage and all the right qualities. She's the kind of player who strengthens a team without bringing unnecessary drama. She plays hard, she plays smart, and, imagine this, she actually respects the game. That alone makes her an instant upgrade. And while Carter's most devoted fans cry foul, the reality is simple. If you can't be a team player, you won't have a team. The Sky saw an opportunity to improve their roster and eliminate distractions, and they took it. No hard feelings, it's just business.
At first glance, the Chicago Sky trading the number 3 pick in the draft to the Mystics for Ariel Atkins could feel like a little bit of a desperate move. right? Chicago desperate to compete right now with Angel Reese after her rookie season. Of course, Camila Cardoso's rookie season as well. So I get that. And it's a nice rebuilding move by the Mystics.
But now, the bigger question is, what's next for Chennedy Carter? Because let's be real, there isn't exactly a long list of WNBA teams eager to sign her. Technically, she's a free agent, but that doesn't mean much if no team is willing to take the risk. After all the controversy surrounding her last season, franchises might not want to deal with the baggage that comes with signing her. This isn't just about talent. Carter can play, that's never been in question. But being a professional athlete is about more than skill. It's about attitude, discipline, and understanding that basketball is a team sport, not a one-woman show. Right now, she's looking more like the player no one wants to pick up for a scrimmage. And unless she does some serious reputation repair, this could mark the abrupt end of her WNBA career.
Last year due to Carter's behavior, which apparently went unchecked by former coach Teresa Weatherspoon. There was concern within the team regarding how re-signing Carter would impact the Sky's chances of landing other free agents. And likely this was a joint decision that was made between the GM and the new head coach, Tyler Marsh.
Meanwhile, Chicago isn't dwelling on the past. They've moved forward with Atkins and a renewed focus on winning. Carter, on the other hand, is left questioning where things went wrong. Spoiler alert, it wasn't just one thing. It was an entire season's worth of bad decisions. Carter didn't just lose her roster spot, she turned herself into an untouchable free agent with no team willing to take a chance on her. And can you really blame them? After spending the season making Caitlin Clark her personal punching bag, both literally and figuratively, she's now facing an off-season full of uncertainty. Instead of preparing for the 2025 WNBA season, she's staring at an empty schedule. And to think, this could have gone so differently. Rivalries are part of sports, but the great ones know how to walk the fine line between competitive and self-destructive. Carter, however, crossed that line. She wasn't just aggressive on the court. She brought that same reckless energy into interviews, social media, and every public interaction. And now, without a team willing to give her another shot, she's learning a tough lesson about what happens when you prioritize drama over professionalism. The irony? Caitlin Clark, the same player Carter tried to belittle, is thriving. Not only is she the biggest name in the WNBA, but she's also breaking records, securing major endorsements, and gearing up for what could be an MVP-caliber season. Meanwhile, Carter is stuck watching, scrolling through WNBA highlights that no longer include her. At this point, Carter has two options. Either take her talents overseas or step away from the game entirely. And let's be honest, once a player leaves the WNBA, there's no guarantee they'll make it back. Teams have long memories, and Carter's reputation isn't exactly screaming, second chance. This isn't just a temporary career setback. It's one of the biggest self-inflicted downfalls in recent memory. She had the talent, she had the opportunity, and she let it all slip away by focusing on tearing someone else down instead of building herself up. Meanwhile, Chicago fans are acting like a championship parade is already planned. With Angel Reese now in the mix, their excitement is at an all-time high. But let's slow down. The Sky might be improving, but they've got a major obstacle in their way, the Indiana fever. And you know what that means? Caitlin Clark is coming. The first game of the season is already set, and Clark is about to put on a show. Chicago can add as many new players as they want, but none of them come with the game-changing impact Clark has. So while Caitlin Clark is out there making history, Carter will be left reflecting. Because respect matters. Talent alone can open doors, but character is what keeps them open. And unfortunately for Carter, she may have slammed that door shut for good. That first matchup of the season is already set. And you can bet Caitlin Clark has that date marked on her calendar. She remembers everything from last year. The tension, the drama, the cheap shots, and she's gearing up to let her game do the talking. Chicago fans are hyping up their squad like they've already punched their ticket to the finals. But let's be real for a second. Before they start dreaming about deep playoff runs, they have to get past Caitlin Clark. And if history has taught us anything, that's no easy task. Reality is about to hit Sky fans harder than one of Clark's deep three-pointers. They're acting as if adding Ariel Atkins was the final piece to a championship puzzle, like they've cracked some secret formula for success. But here's a news flash. One signing doesn't erase the problems this team had last season. But hey, let them dream. These are the same fans who swore up and down that Angel Reese was going to dominate Caitlin Clark. That take aged about as well as an unrefrigerated gallon of milk. While Clark was out there making history, torching defenses, and solidifying herself as a generational talent, Reese was grinding. But let's not pretend it was even close. I knew from the moment Carter pulled that unnecessary move on Clark that her future was in jeopardy. A lot of people were caught off guard by how quickly things spiraled for her, but I wasn't. Actions have consequences, and today, Carter is dealing with the fallout, without a job. Now, just because Chicago added a seasoned veteran in Atkins, some fans are convinced they're a completely transformed team. That level of delusion is next level. Atkins is a great player. She brings defensive grit, leadership, and scoring ability. But let's be real, she's not a miracle worker. Chicago still has glaring weaknesses. Chemistry is a work in progress. Their depth isn't intimidating anyone, and they still have serious matchup issues against top-tier teams. But for whatever reason, Sky fans are celebrating as if they just formed a dynasty overnight. Meanwhile, over in Indiana, Caitlin Clark is probably getting in extra reps at the gym, smiling at all this noise. That season opener against Chicago? Oh, she's ready for it. And trust me, she hasn't forgotten the disrespect from last year. The Indiana Fever aren't just adding new players to their roster. They're making strategic moves that actually matter. They're building around a young, talented core, bringing in veteran players that head coach Stephanie White is already familiar with. This team isn't just trying to compete. They're laying the foundation for long-term success. And speaking of bad decisions, let's circle back to Chennedy Carter. She just fumbled the biggest opportunity of her career. The WNBA's message couldn't be clearer. No roster spot, no team willing to take the risk. While Carter is left on the outside looking in, Clark is preparing to take the league by storm. Teams saw the warning signs, and no front office is willing to bring unnecessary drama into their locker room. Carter's reputation finally caught up with her, and now she's the player nobody wants. It's like being picked last in gym class, except this time, no one picked her at all. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is preparing for one of the biggest seasons in WNBA history. She's already in the MVP conversation. Her team has real championship aspirations, and she's leading a franchise that's ready to make a serious run. Chicago fans can hype themselves up all they want, but when opening night arrives, they're in for a reality check. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Click the video on your screen, and we'll see you in the next one.